before 7 years ago, Karura was a very insecure place to be, whether during the day or during the night. When we developed the Forest Act of 2005, the new constitution, or the Constitution of Kenya 2010, was not in place, and therefore after the promulgation of the constitution we required to align the Forest Act to the new constitution. What obtained in the forest sector at that time was command and control. Do this, don't do this. Government versus the others. It was basically exclusion, that everybody else was seen as an agent of destruction into the forest except the government. In 2005, we attempted to bring in community participation through the Community Forest Association. So we created an environment or a framework within which communities could organize themselves to engage government, to engage the service. Because of the partnership that the Forest Service has entered into with the Friends of Karura. The Friends of Karura comprise all those who are surrounding the forest, including the affluent communities and also some poor communities within the slum areas. That partnership has acted as a game changer for Karura.
For us, the relationship between Kenya Forest Service and FKF, which is anchored in participatory forest management, is so critical and helpful in the conservation of Karura Forest. Our first management plan between 2010 and 2015, our primary focus was security of the forest, stopping grabbing of the forest, and ensuring safety of people who would come and visit in the forest. Building proper infrastructure, creating entrance points that could be managed and secured so that people can enjoy this place in a peaceful way and without fear of intimidation or theft or insecurity. We have several informal communities surrounding the forest. The Huruma community, Dipsy and Gedogoro. We allow them to come into the forest to collect firewood. We have 150 families who depend on this forest. We have 60% of our scouts who come from those informal communities, and they derive their income from here and support their families back at home. We have women who work here as casuals and also as tree carers, and all those people are bringing money back home through Karura Forest. In 2015, we got money from the Global Environmental Facility through UNDP, which supported the training of some members of that community, Huruma and Gedogoro, and we were able to train them in two things. One, in apiary keeping and beekeeping, and we have set up a honey processing plant for them, and they're able to produce honey from this forest and improve their livelihood through honey making and selling. We also trained young people from that community as forest guides, and you'll be able to see them here taking school children on a tour of the forest, talking about birds and forest ecology, and it's a beautiful thing that we are involving the community, and the community is learning and earning their living from the forest. As per our first management plan, we embarked on a program to build infrastructure in the forest that would support the visitors. And one of the few things we did was to improve our trails and create bridges across rivers so people could move from one section of the forest to the other. We also built a picnic site right here called Amani Gardens. And because of the terror that happened in September 2013, where we lost some of the ardent supporters of the Friends of Karura Forest and visitors to the forest, we created a little garden there where we planted 67 trees in remembrance of the Westgate victims. We have also built a cafe which is now rented out and become very, very popular. All these are income generating activities for the Friends of Karura Forest, so that they can get income to bring the community and hire community people and improve their livelihoods. Karura Forest has become a haven for visitors, recreational visitors, education visitors. In particular, since we began, we opened the forest as a recreational ecotourism center, we have received more than 200,000 visitors a year. In 2015 alone, we reached that goal, and it was a milestone in our achievement as a loved place by the Nairobians and visitors, a place where you can have a serene walk or a jog and enjoy yourself. But more importantly, we are attracting young people, school children. We had 5,600 students visiting the forest in 2015. That's a big, big plus for us, meaning 5,600 kids now know about a forest. Some of these kids grew up in eastern part of the city where they had never seen more than 10 trees at once. And for them coming into this forest, it's a joy and a learning experience for them.
Karura is unique in that the CFA, the Community Forest Association for Karura, which is the Friends of Karura, has within itself certain experts who have given their time voluntarily for the conservation of Karura.
Research is key in the long-term sustainable management of the forest. We need to know how the small mammals are growing, how the bird life in this forest is going. We are seeing this lake here. You look at the water and the invasive species that could potentially terminate a dam like this one. So we look at the research and we learn how to deal with the challenges of invasive species in the forest.
We also have corporates who have dedicated part of their corporate social responsibility to ensure that Karura is upgraded and is managed for purposes of recreation.
Forest management, forest conservation is a matter for everybody. Every Kenyan must feel the duty to protect forested green spaces in Kenya. And we are doing that by reaching out to schools, getting young kids from as young as kindergarten to come and visit the forest and be linked with this nature so that they can become the protectors of tomorrow for this forest.
We must be able to tailor-make the requirement for each one of these forests and mobilize the necessary resources and skills that will give us what we want in that area. For Karura, I think we have gotten it right in terms of converting Karura into a green space, because the people of Nairobi, Nairobi National Park probably was the only green space that was secure enough for Nairobians to visit. Now with Karura, we need to start reducing pressure for Karura. 18,000 visitors every month in this small area is probably going to be unsustainable in the short run. And that's why we are moving to Gong Road, Gong Sanctuary, and eventually Gong Hills. And so that we can, build this culture of Kenyans, and particularly the youth in Kenya, to see the value of green spaces, and so that during their leisure time they can have places they can go and network and commune with nature.